Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. I think Frankie's full of good today. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin and Frankie the Yankee. What's it say? Oh, New York versus Oakland. But how you guys doing today?
Oh, man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. We had the day off yesterday, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it. Frankie's down there feeling good because he's got to play the A's today, so he's probably thinking to himself, man, that's a 3-game win streak. I can go on real quick. Well, I don't care what anybody says. Catcher's the most important position in baseball.
Oh, no, it's not. How you doing today, Frankie?
Good to be here, though.
I'm doing really well. Just like Jay, we had a day off yesterday after coming from a 2 out of 3 game winning series over the red hot Texas Rangers. You're welcome, Jay. I'm doing really good, and like Jay said, we got the Oakland A's the next 3 games, so that could be a 5-game winning streak for my boys. And then, going up to St. Louis this weekend to take care of Randy and his boys. But I'm doing well. But I want to go back to the YouTube. There's something going on. There's something going on because Jay said catchers are more important, and you're saying no. Did I miss something before the show started?
Just last night, me and Gonzo got into a heated debate about the validity of the pitcher over the catcher or vice versa. And Chris made some good points. I felt like I made some good points. I think it's
Frankie, who's more important, the catcher or the pitcher?
Honestly, in my opinion, I think the pitcher is more important. But the pitcher can't do what he does without the catcher because the catcher's giving him the calls. And the catchers are supposed to be the ones focusing on the people that are stealing bases. But in my opinion, I think the pitcher is more important because if you don't have good pitching, then you're in trouble.
But how do you get good pitching? You get good pitching by good play call. How do you get good play? Hold on. How do you get good play call? Because remember, how many times do you see a pitch not really be a strike, but when a catcher shut up?
Oh, I'm glad.
At you.
When you see a catcher be able to frame pitches. Hold on. When you see a catcher be able to frame pitches, he can make that pitcher look better than what he really is. So let's not get it twisted because the catcher can make the pitcher or break the pitcher. Because if he doesn't call a right game plan, how many hits do they give up?
Okay, I got 2 things on that.
Yeah.
One, it's a lot easier to win a baseball game with a average to below average catcher than it is with a average to below average pitcher. For 2, we're about ready to find out the point on this anyway. Next year when they go to this electronic umpire shit,
yeah,
framing pitches ain't going to mean shit no more. So then we'll really find out how important framing pitches is because that's not going to matter no more once they go to this electronic strike zone everybody wants.
Oh, I get. Oh, also the umpire regency call. They want your membership card back.
I didn't hear what you said, but okay.
You did. I said the umpire union called. They want your membership card back. You've been kicked out of the ump union.
A catcher can control the game, but what I'm saying, when it comes to winning, a pitcher is more important because if you have a
that's kind of weird you say that. It's like you speak one way, but then you speak it up. If a catcher controls the game, if he controls the game, then he's got to control the win or the outcome.
What's the most important thing in baseball? What's the objection? To win a game. The most important player to win a game, to help you win a game, is your pitcher. If a pitcher don't pitch good, they're going to hit a bunch of home runs, score a bunch of runs. You can win with average players at other positions, but below average players at pitcher, you're not going to have a winning season.
This is an easy example right here, Jay. Oakland A's last year, they had Sean Murphy as a catcher, amazing catcher, but yet they had terrible pitching. That's an example right there.
They are real important.
Yeah, they are
But
important.
they also didn't have hitting either. I mean, it wasn't just for the A's. It wasn't all just about pitching for them. They had terrible hitting too.
But if they had good pitching, they wouldn't be giving up a lot of runs.
Hey,
this is just some Northerners talking to a Southerner. That's all this is.
Listen,
Y'all just get on that Northern bandwagon. I get it, man.
Texas Rangers last year was one of the best hitting teams in the league, but their pitching was terrible. How far did they go last year?
Well, again, so you're trying to frame it to where it looks that direction, but you need both sides of the ball to win a game. You can't just have one and not have the other. So again, I mean, you're right. When they develop their pitching staff, yes, of course, but you can't be straight all offense and not have defense too, because we all defense wins championships. That's what they always say. Defense wins champions.
And what's the most important part of your defense?
Catcher.
Pitcher. The guy that throws the ball that you hit.
Catcher.
Hold on, Jay.
Because watch this. When the pitcher screws up, how many times you've seen balls that get to the backstop and lose runs?
All right.
So don't tell me that defense isn't of the catcher, because every Astro player will tell you that if it wasn't for Maldonado, we probably would have lost a lot of games.
Yeah, but if you don't have good pitching, you're going to lose a lot of games, Jay.
I agree with that. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. And that's why I say, for me personally, truthfully, for the heart of the matter, because of the points that you made and the points I think they're a horse apiece. I think both those damn positions, to me, can be 1A and 1B, honestly, because I don't think either one of them can get you without the other.
Damn it, the shortstop is the most important position.
You shut your pie hole over there. You never played baseball.
Oh my
Everybody knows the only thing you ever did in high school was bowl.
Jesus. Why are you even arguing with Chris? Why are you doing it?
Hey, wait, what was Frankie's number one position? I think he played wiffle ball. Didn't you play wiffle ball? Didn't you do that little thing where you're doing like this at the net?
Jay, I might have played. At least I played an American sport where you went overseas.
Oh shit!
With the Afghanistan people.
Hey, listen! Don't knock cricket. Do not knock cricket. By the way, cricket has a bowler. There's actually a position called a bowler in it. Frankie, you've been perfect for that.
Cricket is a sister sport of baseball. Shut up. Again, why are you arguing with Chris? He's got good pitching. He's got a good catcher. You got bad pitching. You got a good catcher.
Hey, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
There's no more arguing with Chris right now.
I can't argue with him, man. Right now, if the playoffs were to start today, I think he'd be in it, and I wouldn't be. Frankie, you're only in it by the skin of your teeth, so don't get all cocky over there.
I'll still be in it.
Hey! Hey, all I need is Toronto to lose a game or two, and I'm playing St. Louis. I'll be right back in it tomorrow. You know how it goes right now. The damn AL is so wide open. Honestly, the wild card side of it.
He's going to say that. He's going to say, "Oh, we're playing St. Louis. We'll be back in it tomorrow, and I watch her go lose to the Cardinals today."
Hey, shut your mouth! Why are you putting that bad juju on me, man? Damn.
He said the same thing to the Dodgers, right? Right after Jonathan.
Hey, no! Don't even bring up that Dodgers bullshit. Don't bring up that Dodgers bullshit. Because we all know what was going on over in that Dodger land. Okay, don't even bring that craziness in here.
What was going on in Dodger land?
What was going on?
You know damn good and well. You know damn good and well.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh no, you do know. Well, if you don't know, then you need to stop podcasting.
All I know is that you guys lost game one because you guys had a rookie pitcher out there. Then you was like, okay, let's wait for game two where we have our ace out there. You lost by a comeback, and then you finally won.
No, we lost on a balk and a second place umpire deciding the game. That's what we lost.
Is it a comeback, Jay? Is it a comeback? They were down 7-3. Is that a comeback? Doesn't matter if it's a balk. They won through a comeback. Did they not?
You're only a half game up on me. Why you giving me such shit? You're only a half game up. It's not like you're 30 games up. You may not even get Judge back this year. Judge may be gone forever for this season at least.
Yeah, and that's what you're praying and that's what you're wishing. But it's
no, I don't pray. No, really, I don't, because I don't like to see anybody go down on it. I really don't. I think Judge probably could have done some good things this year, and if that toe injury takes him out of it, that really does suck for the game of baseball because it is fun to watch.
I'm giving you.
And truthfully, Frankie, I don't want to win. I don't think anybody wants to win when a team is at their worst. I mean, if you're filled with injuries, that sucks because we're not really getting the best version of you. So I want the best version. I think champions want the best version of their opponent.
But the reason why we're giving you shit, Jay, is because you are defending.
You just like to give me shit. You like to give me shit.
No. You're a defending champion who, from October to February, even March, was talking shit and getting ready. And we try to warn you before the season started to slow down, slow your roll.
Hey, look, okay, I took your advice. I slowed down. You know I slowed down.
Yeah, after like you guys lost.
Well, sometimes things happen in life, Frankie. Okay, things just happen. Okay.
Don't you just love this new side of Jay, Chris?
Hey, but I also still believe that the Astros are going to be in the playoffs. Okay, but I am on my expectation of where they can be. Yeah, I have slowed down on that a little bit for sure. Tony, be quiet. Don't even come in here with that foolishness. Come here.
I haven't been able. I couldn't.
God, the guy can't even get to 5 feet. He's got little man like Napoleon Simplex over there.
I couldn't find the video last night to watch it to see if it was.
How could you not find it? It's all over ESPN.
No, nobody cares about the Astros, so I couldn't find no Astro videos.
Really? That's where we're going now, Chris? This is where we're going?
Hey, you know how long I put up?
You get one damn 12-game win streak, and this is where we're going?
I don't want to hear this is where we're going because you know how long I had to put up with your guys' shit about how bad the Reds were. Yeah, you're going to be getting it.
You were doing with your own shit. Even you were saying how bad they were.
Yeah, because my team's bad. If your team's bad, they're bad. What are you supposed to say? Oh, they suck.
That's true. I mean, no. Hey, listen, I feel you, man. I feel you. I do. Get one damn win streak, and all of a sudden, you think you just the best thing since sliced bread. This motherfucker.
No, but I do think we have either the same record or maybe a better record in Houston.
Absolutely, you do. No doubt about it. But you're also on a 3-game losing streak, so whatever.
They're on a 2-game losing streak.
And we're the
no, it's 3 games. It's 3 games.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, I'm wrong most of the time, but on this one, I'm right.
Hey, and we're the only team that swept the Houston Astros this season.
Oh, shit. You know what, though? I got to let you have that because you earned it. So, all right.
That's the team. Chris, we talked about this before the show, and you only mentioned the Texas Rangers. There you go, right there. That's the other team that you swept, the Houston Astros. Oh, my God.
It popped in my head. I was like, wait a minute. That's who it was.
Oh, man.
Couldn't remember before the show.
Oh, I remember, but I wasn't going to say it.
That was a good one to say for one in live anyway.
Poor Jay, man.
Hey, but I'll tell you this though, man. Our hitting's coming on. I need our bullpen to match what our hitters are doing right now. If I could just, like you said, Frankie, if I could just get the bullpen from last year to come back this year, I think I'll be okay.
See, you need your bullpen to match your hitters. I need my hitters to match my bullpen.
Yes.
Hey, which is kind of funny because last year we were saying the opposite of your team last year. Now it's like this team, it took some kind of reverse effect. Which I think is the same thing with the Astros bullpen. Last year our bullpen was great, and this year our bullpen just stinks it up.
Well, as a team, your pitching staff isn't pitching bad, Jay. You guys on it 3?
No, we're not. Yeah, I mean we're not bad, but I mean I just feel like we're definitely not like we were last year. Last year, our command is really. The more I watch Montero, the more I watch Presley, the more I even watch Stanek at times.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes that command teams to get away from it. And we had better command of our pitches last year than we do of our pitches this year. They're letting balls hang up. They're not getting balls in the strike zone. I mean, it's just their command is all over the place. Hector Neris is a prime example of that.
You know who the main problem in that is?
Verlander.
Don't say the catcher. Don't say the catcher.
It's the catcher. He's the most important. He's the one that calls the game. That's why the pitchers aren't executing. It's all the catcher.
Hey, Chris, I'm thinking of number 1 to 10. Or no, 1 to 5, Chris. I'm thinking of a number 1 to 5 on my hand. Could you imagine what that number would be? And what finger would be in that position to get the score?
The catcher's most important position in baseball. He's not doing his job.
It is an important position. If you don't think catcher's an important position, then you don't need to.
I think they're important. I just don't think they're the most important.
I think they're equal. I'll meet you in the middle. I think they're equal.
I think the shortstop is most important.
Well,
I'll tell you what. Hey, old Volpe's he's getting education this year at that shortstop position. He's not doing bad. Not doing
But
bad.
defensively, he's going downhill on the hitting part.
That's really where I want to see more from him. It's funny because I think IKF needs to work more on his defense, and Volpe needs to work more on his offense, and I think he'll be fine.
No, since we started in baseball, what do you got? Since we're only about a week and a half from the All-Star game, what's been the?
Are we that close to the All-Star game?
Yeah, July 11th. What's been the biggest surprise to you guys of the first half of the season here?
Well, I think we've already talked about some of that, haven't we? I mean, I think Frankie will tell you that the biggest surprise on his team is the lack of hitting, but yet his bullpen is a strength. I think we also know, like I said, what I said about the Astros, but I think the biggest surprise, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I think the biggest surprise is two teams on what the expectation was for them. I think the Padres haven't lived up to what they brought in. I definitely think the Mets haven't lived up to what they brought in. And on the flip side of that, Arizona's doing great with what they got. Cincinnati's doing great with what they got. And the Rangers are exploding with what they got. And somehow another Tampa Bay with that low-ass payroll is the hottest team in baseball. So there's a lot of weird stuff, if I can clean up the language, a lot of weird stuff that's gone on this season. Damn, Stroman and Hendricks. Wow.
I'm gonna have to say I think there's two surprising teams that got to me, and one of them is the Cincinnati Reds. Even the Yankees, they had a couple 2 out of 3 games where it was kind of close with the Cincinnati Reds, but the Yankees ended up walking away with the sweep. But I never looked down on the Reds. Chris is my witness. These guys are absolutely turning their season around for the better. And also the Arizona Diamondbacks, surprisingly quietly, not even being mentioned around in the baseball world, they jump out on a lead over 3 important teams: the San Francisco Giants, the San Diego Padres, like Jay said, and the LA Dodgers. I mean, it's really mind blowing. A team like the Arizona Diamondbacks and what they did last year, turning it around and coming this year. But let's not get this out of mind, everybody. Like Chris said, this is before All-Star break, and as me and Jay know, when you get to that All-Star break, these teams could get cold. And me, for one, is a person that knows really well after the All-Star break, you can get cold. So I'm not gonna sit here and say the Reds are gonna win their division. The Diamondbacks could win their division because the Reds are only up 4 games in their division. The Diamondbacks are up about 3 games in theirs. So anything can happen after the All-Star break or even close to it.
Reds are actually a half game back in their division now.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, Brewers moved up a half game ahead of us yesterday. We got the same amount of wins, but they have 1 less loss.
It's the same thing with the Angels and the Astros. I said that to Jay the other day.
And
that makes no sense.
And the Giants are real close to catching the Diamondbacks for first in that division now. You're right. So that's why I didn't get too excited about the Reds. Don't get me wrong, I'm still excited. We're competitive, and I think we have a good chance to make the playoffs. But so much can happen after the All-Star break. Like, what was it, 3-4 years ago? Washington Nationals was like the worst team in baseball the first half of the season, and came back after All-Star break and won the damn World Series.
Yep.
Man, that's crazy, dude. And we got to play Texas. Houston still has a 4-game series with Texas, and then we got a 4-game series with Seattle. So that's 2 big series right there, right before the All-Star break.
Seattle's so easy, Jay. Like, don't even.
I'm not saying that, but Seattle, some teams can give teams fits. Even though they suck, they still give teams fits. And Seattle does give the Astros fits at times. I don't know what it is. They just do. And I got to take that series. I can't listen to Mickey Delaney's bullshit anymore. So I got to take that series. I got to take this. We don't got to sweep them, but I do want to win both of those series. If I can win both of those, I'll feel good going into All-Star break.
I want to answer Dustin real quick because he said the Orioles are a huge surprise too.
They are.
No. I wouldn't say that they're a huge surprise because we've seen at the end of last season how good they turned their season around quickly to try and fight in their way up the rankings to try and get into a wildcard spot. They were just too much games behind. But they had an actual, after trading away Trey Mancini, literally last year trading away Trey Mancini, they turned their season around really well. And we all said that the Orioles are going to be interesting coming up this year. And it's not surprisingly, but I will say that they're playing really well. Like they're playing really good as well. I wouldn't overlook the Baltimore Orioles just yet.
Oh no.
And the crazy thing is, honestly, they are the number 2 team in the AL, not the whole thing, but they're the number 2 team in the AL. They got a better record than the damn Rangers do. I'm just saying. I mean, I think that's the surprising part. I knew they were going to be competitive. We all knew that they were going to be competitive. I knew they were going to be above 500. I just didn't think that at this point going to the All-Star break that they would have the number 2 record in the AL. That to me is what's surprising. Like they really have exceeded what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah, I think they have a good batting average.
They're hitting 253 as a team.
And what's that ranked in the MLB?
I'm not sure what it's ranked, but it's pretty decent because that's. Let's see.
That's got to be at least top 10, probably top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
While Chris looks that up, I'm going to answer this one also. Do you guys think that Alek Manoah is done? Gave up 11 runs in 2 1/3 inning in his Florida Complex League, and we all know how Alex Manoah got sent away from the Toronto Blue Jays for giving up so many runs as well, and actually being terrible this year after having an amazing year last year. I think Alek Manoah is done as a Toronto Blue Jay. I feel like he's going to end up going to another team by the trade deadline.
So I went on this team rankings website, and in 2023, in terms of batting average, they got Texas ranked 1, Atlanta at 2, Tampa Bay at 3, Arizona surprisingly at 4, followed by Toronto, Washington, Miami, Boston, Angels, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Colorado. Baltimore comes in around 13.
Yeah, that's it. That's in the whole Major League Baseball.
Yeah. This is both leags. I apologize. This is both leagues. Yeah. Man, Houston's down around 18.
Who?
Yeah, they got Houston down around 18, and then they got the Yankees down at 28.
Where's the Reds at?
Bad.
The Reds are, let me see here. You guys are at 11.
Ooh, better than both of us. We suck.
Yeah. They got Cincinnati ranked at 11 right now.
But if we go to our pitching team ERAs, both you guys are way ahead of us. We're hitting the ball.
We got better pitching. That's all.
Hey, but again, this is just before All-Star break. We all know that things can heat up or things can go cold. So the first half is what it is. I'm really curious to see how we come in that second half.
Jay and Chris, yes, the All-Star break is coming up, but what is also else coming up? The trade deadline. A lot of things is about to change really soon.
Oh, God. Houston, could we just get some bullpen arms? I don't know. I don't know, man. See, that's the thing, though, Frankie, too, though. I don't know if I want to change too much of the team. I feel like we just got to build with what we have. We got the players. We just got to find our chemistry again. So I don't know if I want to shake too much up on, at least not for my team anyway. I don't know if I want to shake too much.
I'm gonna be real with you both. The Yankees definitely need another outfielder. We need a strong hitter, and I can definitely say that maybe two hitters can be well. If not, I would like one good hitter that's an outfielder that can play outfield, and also a bullpen piece, an extra bullpen piece. We have a really good bullpen right now, but I feel like getting another good bullpen piece will solidify us to turning our season around.
Dustin goes on to say the I didn't realize that too. The MLB draft is coming up pretty soon. So
yeah, it's next weekend, the 9th and 10th.
Golly, boy, we're getting here quick.
Tony Gonzalez go on to say, do the Reds make any move? Chris, that's your team. We're gonna let you talk about your team. Answer your dad. Does your team make any moves?
Oh yeah, he knows how I feel about it. I think they're going to I think they might. If they do, it's going to be either starting pitching or trying to find a reliever. We need starting pitching right now. We got too many guys hurt. We've lost 3 of our top starters are hurt right now. Against the Braves, we had to start a guy we just brought up from the minor leagues that third game. We had so many guys. Hunter Green, who has a 2.05 ERA his last 5 starts. He's out with the hip. Ashcraft tried to come back. He didn't look good, so he's still out. Lodolo's still out with a stress fracture. And then we're all like starters that we were dependent on to be our main guys this year because they had good years last year or started to have good seasons last year toward the end of the year. So I think if they do anything, it'll be in the pitching department. I don't think we need to really mess with our positional players. Like I said, we're hitting 257 as a team, which is 11th in all of baseball. And we just added Joey Votto back, who's been hitting the ball good. And Nick Senzel are 2 guys that give us a little bit of experience because the rest of our players are real young. Actually, let me pull that up real quick because I would share or save something on my phone so I could.
Hey, while you're doing that, real quick, Frankie, Dustin says you get Bellinger.
I did see news on that the Yankees have been looking at Cody Bellinger for the.
Do you want him?
Cubs. I wouldn't mind him, honestly. I really.
Or is that the
really
second coming of Joey Gallo?
No, I don't think so. I honestly, I don't think so. He's a good outfielder. I feel like he'll be a good hitter for the Yankees. At least definitely get some base running, some extra base running as well. I don't think he'll be the next Joey Gallo. We're not looking for somebody to try and hit home runs all the time, and that's what Joey Gallo was. He was a guy that was like swinging at pitches, trying to get home runs all the goddamn time. Not just with the Yankees, but with the Rangers and with the Dodgers. Like, it's everywhere. Joey Gallo is just that type of guy that wants to hit home runs. Cody Bellinger, I think he'll be a good base hitter for the Yankees. I wouldn't mind it. I also seen something from the Mets that we were going to get Monte from the Mets. That would be a surprising move because the Mets and the Yankees don't really make much trade offers to each other because they were like, that's like I say all the time, my redheaded stepchild's franchise over there in the Queens area of New York. So you don't really see much trade between 2 New York teams. But I wouldn't mind that trade as well because that dude right there, he is a powerful hitter. And I think he will be great on the Yankees lineup.
But no, while I was looking up about the Reds, I saw this graphic, and it's notable Reds rookies. They put down our 5 rookies and their statistics. De La Cruz has played 17 games. He's hitting .333 with 10 RBIs, and his OPS is 9.89.
Chris, I love that kid.
Oh,
I love that kid so much that when Mike Hughes sent me the link, sent me the notification that he was coming up from the minors, I said, yeah, this is the Cincinnati Reds are going to take off with this kid.
Oh, dude, he's electric to watch, fun to watch. And then we have Spencer Steer, who's basically played the whole season. He's a rookie. He's played 75 games. He's in the Rookie of the Year conversation. He's hitting .275, 11 home runs, and he has an OPS of 838. Then you have Matt McClain. He's a rookie, played 37 games. He's hitting .325 with 5 home runs and OPS of 922. And then another rookie, Will Benson, is hitting .256 with 3 home runs and has a 7.98 or .798 OPS. Then we have a pitcher, and that's who's pitching tonight against Baltimore. Andrew Abbott. He's 3-0. He's started 3 times.
Yeah, I like that Abbott kid.
His ERA is 1.14. He's pitched.
Yeah, that Abbott kid he's crazy,
and has 22 strikeouts. So
yeah.
I mean, that dude with them 5.
I watched that Abbott kid pitch against the Astros. I was even telling my dad, man. I was like, this kid, he's good. Like, he's really freaking good, man.
But man, De La Cruz he's a freak, man. I've never seen somebody hit a ground ball to first base like that and beat it out.
Seriously, I swear to God, he is a beast. And I was so glad that you guys finally called him up because this is a kid that I've been paying attention to for a while, honestly. Like, and I'm not even a Reds fan. I'm just a fan.
Well, we don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure.
Jay, I am the last person that you should even try and go.
Listen, that Yankees jersey could be reversible. It could be reversible. I got Reds on the inside and
my Reds on the inside. Look at this, all pinstripe, buddy.
Hey, listen, okay, you got an undershirt. Okay, you got an undershirt.
Disrespect me again with my Yankees. Don't you do it.
I gotta give you shit, Frankie. Come on,
Frankie,
now.
I'm gonna send you one of those half jerseys so you can make the joke.
You know what, Chris? If it's a De La Cruz jersey, I will totally accept it, and I will.
Hey, by the way, Frankie.
Hey, one half will be Dela Cruz, the other half will be Aaron Judge. We'll split it in half.
Oh Lord, well,
Yeah.
one half will be on the disabled list. The other one will be, I guess, active duty.
Judge will be back.
Frankie, Dustin says Bellinger. Hey, he's saying Bellinger for Gleyber Torres straight up is what they're looking at.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
I mean, and I don't mind it. I'm gonna miss Gleyber Torres. He's been on the trade block for 2 years now, and he's definitely a good workhorse player. I'm gonna miss him, honestly. I really am. Even if he goes by the trade deadline, I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna miss him because this is one of the hardest working Yankees for a long time now. But for Bellinger, it's gonna work out. The thing that comes to mind is that he says that the Cubs need a third baseman. Gleyber Torres isn't a third baseman. He's a second base player, or he could play shortstop. He's not a third base player. So I don't know how that's going to work out for you guys if you try and get Torres and try and put him at third base. That's just going to make you guys more confused. But hey, if I get Bellinger and you go ahead and you try to put Gleyber Torres in third base, don't come at me saying, why the hell did we make that trade? Because I'm letting you guys know right now, he is not a third baseman. I'll give you Josh Donaldson if you like. He's a third baseman.
God, no, nobody wants no damn Josh Donaldson. Nobody wants that shit. It's like Hicks, too. Nobody wants Hicks. Keep all that craziness over there.
Baltimore took
New York,
Hicks.
Yankee land.
Hicks is over there in Baltimore. He's actually having a good year with Baltimore.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll give you Jake Myers for Hicks. Because you need a defensive outfielder, and that's one thing Jake will give you. Jake Myers, he's a hell of an outfielder for real. Like, watch him. Look at his stats, and I think he's hitting around 240-ish, 240, 250.
You can't talk to me about
he
Hicks,
wouldn't be honestly. He wouldn't be a bad prospect for you guys to pick up.
But you can't talk to me about Aaron Hicks. You got to go to a Baltimore organization or a Baltimore fan for that. He's with the O's now.
Interesting. So let me ask you this, man. There's been conflicting reports. Some people say Judge is out for the season. Some people say he'll be back before playoffs. What do you think? Do you think he's coming back?
Yeah, I do think he's coming back. He's been gone for a while now, and it's not a turf toe situation. It's actually a torn ligament that he finally came out and said to the media somehow, some way. Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman was trying to hold it off and saying it was a sprain. But Aaron Judge came out and said, no, he tore a ligament. And it'll take some time for him to come back. He's already been sitting for like 2 weeks now. So I feel like he'll be back probably late August, early September, hopefully. Because if you get a turf toe, that's like 6 to 8 weeks on the bench. But this man tore a ligament, so I expect him to be out longer. But I do expect him to come back because he said himself out of his mouth, he doesn't know when he's going to come back, but he is going to come back this season. And if he says he's going to come back this season, Aaron Judge is going to come back this season, especially if the Yankees continue to do what they're doing now and fighting for a wild card spot. They continue to do that towards the end. I definitely expect Aaron Judge to come back and help them somehow, some way lock that down. But I do want to say this, I was laughing while I was muted earlier when Jay said something about Dodger Stadium and stuff like that. Because that's where Aaron Judge got hurt. Aaron Judge got hurt at Dodger Stadium. I mean, we played the last game against the Dodgers. That's when he ran into the gate and he broke the gate at Dodger Stadium. He actually ran his toe against the wall because Dodger Stadium isn't really smart or however they built it. They weren't smart. They slammed his toe into the thing against the gate and stuff like that, and that's how he tore his toe. But it happened at Dodger Stadium, so I had to mute myself early, and I'm laughing because when Jay says something about it's Dodger Stadium, and Chris is like, "Wait, what's wrong with that?" or something like that. I mute myself, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's where Aaron Judge got hurt."
And did you see, Frankie, that Dodger Stadium is to reinforce the fence and add padding to that area where that happened at?
Yeah, now they want to do that, of course. Assholes. Excuse my language.
Yeah, wait till somebody gets hurt.
Man.
Hell, you had a NASCAR race the other day where they didn't have how they have them reinforced safety walls.
Yeah.
Those parts of the track, it was just an old concrete wall. It's like
what the NASCAR would make me nervous as a fan. If you're like right up on the wall, I'm always scared that when them dudes get in crashes, like because you've seen it before where fans have died, when crashes have hit by them cars. I mean, that's such a violent sport. With if they crash, damn.
They got lucky at the Indianapolis 500. They got lucky during the Indianapolis 500. A tire went over the fence out into the grandstands, but it went in between the grandstands and hit a car. It tore that person's car up, and they ended up getting a new car out of it. And
I wonder if they got to keep the tire.
They got lucky it didn't hit somebody and kill them, though.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm telling you, hey, that's one sport, man. Honestly, like you said, if things go left or things go right, man, bad things can truly happen, man. And it's the same thing in baseball, though. When those line drives, when the players have been hit, I think the fans a few times have been hit by those line drives. I mean, that ball is hit.
We just recently seen a batter get hit in the jaw with a ball at like 90-something miles per hour. It broke his entire jaw.
He's lucky he's not dead. Much less. I mean, a broke jaw, he got off lucky. I mean, think about that. I'm really surprised he's not dead.
When Aroldis Chapman played for the Reds, I watched him get hit in the face with a comebacker. Line drive right back at him, and boom.
And how do these guys even get up? I'm thinking if I get hit with a line drive like that, I'd be knocked out. I would be.
It's more different. It's more, definitely, because it's more different when you get hit with a line drive. Like, you just sit there and imagine. You got Aroldis Chapman, who's a guy who throws about 97 to about 103, because he can get a fastball to 103 if he really wanted to. And then you got the hitter hitting a velocity of probably like 110, maybe 115 miles per hour coming right back at you. I'm going to the hospital. I'm going to be crying for my mother. I'll be a freaking 30-year-old pitcher crying so bad.
Yeah, and that's why that's why I think the metal bats and aluminum bats like they use in college baseball and even in Little League baseball, them bats are so dangerous because look at the exit velocity that come off them metal bats if it comes back at one of them college players.
Oh yeah, and then
that metal bat. There's like no forgiveness at all with that thing.
It's just the sound of it. Like when I was watching LSU and in Florida this past weekend up to yesterday, which, by the way, congratulations to LSU on becoming the College World Series champions. Guys dominated last night. Congratulations. But, man, every time the ball hit the metal bat and you hear that thing, it's like so scary. You're looking at it, you're like, damn, man, excuse my language, that sounds like it's going to hurt if it comes at you.
Well, Billy Buzz brings up a good point, too. I mean, could you imagine if you got hit with the dang hockey puck? I mean, that hockey puck, I can't imagine there's any forgiveness in that either. Yeah, those are some hardcore. I can see why now, why they had those visors or those clear visors the players wear because, man, if that puck was to get anywhere near your face.
Not even that. Even as a fan, like a hockey game, you got to pay attention because sometimes them pucks fly over that glass.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Could you imagine get hit by a hockey puck and you're in the as long as I don't spill my beer. I don't care if I get hit. Just tell me to spill my beer, man.
Well, and if you think about it, baseball games, they just now started putting nets down the like the baselines. There used to not be nets, so
they did that after that one person got killed. Remember? I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been a kid that got killed.
Nets. I hate that they put the nets up.
I know, man, but they have to.
I understand why they put them up. They needed them, but I hate it. I hate it personally.
Chris is like, man, I hate the Nets. Man, I enjoy watching these old women getting pegged with a fastball. That's what you get getting those seats, and I can't get them, ladies. You sit behind home plate. You better bring a glove, lady. What are you thinking?
If you're at a baseball game, you should be paying attention, not turning around talking. You got to pay attention to what's going on.
Seriously, and to be honest with you, with the net, it's so funny because people behind the home plate, even with the net up, they still jumping when the ball hits the net. It's like why?
Yeah, I guess. Hey, Chris, I guess you and Dustin talked about the NCAA going to wood bats. I mean, how long do you think before that happens? I mean, I think they should go to wood bats. Honestly,
I think Dustin was saying maybe a couple of years. I think the biggest thing is going to be how they're going to figure out the cost because of the bats breaking and stuff. They'll have to.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
I think that they'll have to figure that out. Which, hey, there's a bunch of money that goes through college sports, so I'm sure they can figure that out and afford it. But could you? I mean, with aluminum bat, most time you can use that bat the whole season. Where
Right.
you might not, a wooden bat might not make it through the whole season, so they're going to have.
It blows my mind just how expensive those wood bats are. I mean, those wood bats, geez, they are expensive.
But I do think it would. I think it would be safer than what they're using now, because them bats are. And they're actually in the bats they're using now in college baseball are actually safer than what the ones they were using maybe 7-8 years ago, because now there's actually regulations on some of those bats. You can only use certain bats. They have to have the sticker on it that they're approved and stuff. Before
Right.
there really wasn't no rules, and man, some of them bats was too hot.
Like, what exactly would you do to an aluminum bat? I mean, like, I know you could cork a bat and whatever in wood, but what is it? Is it just the way the weight or how solid the steel is inside? Like, what exactly are they doing to make them that much better?
Well, a lot of them, they stopped using aluminum. They're more of they're a composite, and
Okay.
man, the sweet spot in them are bigger. I remember like when my son was playing Little League and I was coaching. Dude, I grabbed one of them bats and I could barely swing that bat just trying to hit like pop-ups to my outfield for practice. And you could throw the ball, barely swing, and the ball freaking you'd hit it, if you weren't careful, you'd hit it over the fence. And
that's incredible.
Not even swinging hard. I'm just trying to hit,
right. Just making contact.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hit a little pop-up to my players for practice, and I'll be hitting them over. They're saying, "Why you do?" I'm not even swinging. I'm not even swinging hard. I'm just. But yeah,
I remember when I was a young kid in Brooklyn, my dad bought me an aluminum bat. He bought me a Sammy Sosa glove and an aluminum bat. And the aluminum bat is really hard to swing. It really is. But it's like it gives you more power when you hit the ball. Like literally, like you can hit the ball so far with an aluminum bat compared to a wooden bat.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, that's what Dustin was saying. Lighter weight, and like you said, Chris, the composite factor gives them 5 to 10 miles an hour faster.
Yeah.
Your dad says Tony just put up. He said that the Reds might trade for Max Scherzer.
That's dumb. That is dumb. I mean, it's good, but it's dumb. The Mets would be dumb. The Mets would be so dumb to do that.
Yeah.
For one, they just paid the man, and he's having a good season after coming back from suspension. So I mean, that would be dumb.
I don't know if the Mets are having buyer's remorse with a lot of the money they've spent. But
and real quick, Jay, on the bat, real quick, you were talking about how expensive the wooden bats can be.
Right.
Ooh, some of these composite bats are crazy. I remember my son was wanting this. I can't remember the name of the bat now, but it was like $300, like a $350 bat.
Man, whatever happened to the good old Target $29.95 special?
Those are the cheap ones.
I was able to
you can't be getting those. You can't be getting those.
That bat. But I found one online and was able to get it for about half that price. But yeah, there was places at $350. I'm like, dude, I'm not paying $350 for a bat.
Hey, I remember growing up playing baseball.
If he was in high school,
yeah,
I would have bought him that bat because he had been able to use it for a while.
Like, I mean, it makes sense.
I think he was 10, 11 years old. And I'm like, dude, I could buy you this bat, and then you could hit a growth spurt, and then next year I have to go buy you another one. Right.
That's a valid point. I just remember, back in, of course, I'm going back to the early 80s, but playing baseball growing up. I mean, if you had an Easton bat, you were considered that was a creme de la creme, and I'm over here with the Target $29.95 special.
Easton Black Magic used to be the bat back in the day.
Back in the day, right? And all the rich kids had the Easton bats. All the poor kids had the Target or the Walmart $29.95. But you know what? Some of those $29.95 bats would do it better than them damn Eastons.
Hold on, I'm confused right now. Hold on. Chris, did your son ended up getting a growth spurt?
No.
I had a feeling because look at you and look at your dad. Why would you think he would have a growth spurt? What the hell?
Well, he finally did hit a growth spurt, but it was after he graduated high school.
Hey, how tall is Austin?
He's probably about 5'6", 5'7".
God, they are short in your family.
He's a little bit taller. He's a little bit taller than me. But he didn't grow.
My third grade cousin is taller than y'all.
Put it this way: he weighed 79 pounds when he was a freshman in high school.
What? 79 pounds. What is that? That's like a leg.
My daughter Avery's taller than all of y'all.
He wrestled 106 pounds. That was the lowest weight class, and he was one match away from making it to semi-state, giving up all that weight.
Wow. Okay. Man.
But he never grew till after high school. Now he probably weighs about 135, 140.
Growing up, did he have a good appetite? Like, did he eat a lot, or?
That dude ate like a freaking horse. He could play a baseball game without. He could play a baseball game without eating 3 or 4 hot dogs during the game.
Yeah, that metabolism on your side of the family works overtime. My metabolism took a vacation and never came back.
Yeah, he'd eat a hot dog in between innings. He'd come in and I'm hungry. I'm like, you have to wait till after the game. I'd look over, he'd be in the dugout eating a hot dog.
Hey, he ain't stupid. He went up and probably went and beat up some kid, took his hot dog.
No, he just had Papa or Nana come over there and had him go get him a hot dog.
Yeah, hey, he ain't dumb. He knows how to network. He knows how to network and do what he got to do. You know, speaking of baseball though, man, and Chris, I know we talked about it last night. Frankie, I know you kind of saw it, man. That College World Series, I thought Game 1 was great, highly competitive, and then I thought Games 2 and 3 were just nothing but slugfest blowouts. I didn't get into 2 and 3 too much because by the third inning, the damn game was already over with. The rest of it was just semantics.
Yeah.
Damn, Tony weighed 85 pounds when he graduated? Damn, yeah. Tony? That's some lightweights over there.
And me and Dustin talked about this a little bit earlier on the baseball show as well, as where I think the way the World Series went, the last series, kind of overshadowed a little bit how great the college baseball playoffs from regionals on has been. Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of one-run games, extra inning games, comeback wins, inside park home runs, and then you get that first game of the World Series between Florida and LSU was a great game, but Florida had to use a lot of their pitching, and then after that, you get 2 blowouts, one by Florida, one by LSU. So I think that kind of everybody's looking at the last series wasn't real good. Well, it wasn't as good as we expected, but if you look at the whole playoffs as a whole, I think. Oh no,
the whole. That's what I'm saying. No, yeah, I want to make sure I understand. I'm just talking about the actual World Series.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying. And
that Wake Forest LSU and then TCU Florida series. Now those were some damn good series, right?
Yeah, if you go through the
walk-offs and the 1-run wins, I mean, incredible. I just think by the time we got to the World Series, it wasn't as good as what the other series were.
And the guy that pitched last night for LSU, he didn't pitch a whole lot. He's their number 1 guy. His last name always.
I thought we'd see Skeens or however you say that guy's name is. Yeah. I never did see him in the game though, so I guess did he even pitch in the World Series? I know he pitched in the Wake Forest series.
Ooh, for LSU, that Steins or Steins? Yeah, he pitched game 1.
Steins, however you say that name.
He pitched game 1, and then he pitched a little bit last. I think he pitched a little bit last night as well. But
I might have missed that, but I know I watched him pitch in the Wake Forest series.
I know he was supposed to pitch a little bit last night. I think he started anyway, but he's who I was actually talking about. He's projected to be the number 1 overall pick, and there's a lot of people that think that he won't even go to the minors; that he'll go basically straight to the pro. So whoever drafts him, I'm not sure has number 1 pick off the top of my head.
Wait, are you saying that he would get just a straight call up to the show?
That's what a lot of people think, and a lot of people think.
Damn,
he didn't pitch. Skeens didn't pitch game 1. Floyd did.
But Skeens, that's what I didn't think.
But didn't Skeens pitch last night, Dustin? I thought he was going to pitch.
When I was looking at it, I didn't see him in there, so that's why I was curious about.
I think he was going to start, but wasn't going. They didn't know how long he'd pitch because he had thrown 100-something pitches a few days before that. But there's a lot of people that think that he won't go to the minors; that he'll basically go straight pro, or like Dustin, or maybe he might go to start at Double-A or Double-A for a couple weeks. Maybe Triple-A for a couple 2 or 3 weeks, and then be up in the pros. So whoever drafts him,
I mean,
He pitched the 8th
If
inning.
you're making that kind of jump, that's insanity.
He pitched the 8th inning last night, Jay. But
okay.
But if he does that, like Dustin was talking about earlier, because I brought it up to Dustin about that, and then Dustin made a good point. If he does do that, whoever drafts him could be getting basically after the trade deadline another bullpen arm without even having to make a move.
You said Skeens last night.
8th inning is what Dustin said.
Oh my
I'm looking at all their pitchers that pitched. It was 3 pitchers. Hurd started it, Cooper relieved, and Giltree finished it. I don't see Skeens in here.
I know they.
Unless maybe Dustin's talking about game 2.
Oh no, they said he was going to pitch game 3 or pitch something yesterday, is what they had said earlier in the day. But I watched a little bit of the game, and then when it started getting to be more of a blowout, I was watching the Reds.
Yeah.
Jay,
absolutely.
You're naming the Florida pitchers. Jay.
Yeah, but go look at the other ones. He's not. I didn't see him in there either.
But
Jay,
you see what I'm saying? If they could add it, but if he does go to the pros that quick, like Dustin was saying, you're basically getting another bullpen arm without having to make a trade or lose anything, because the draft is in a couple weeks. So, which is weird to me that they do the draft in the middle of the season.
Yeah, bro. I don't think Skeens pitched it that World Series. I'm looking at every game and I don't see his name anywhere in there.
Well, Dustin said he pitched 1 inning in the World Series.
I think Dustin's full of shit. No offense. I love you, Dustin. I think you're lying to me, though. I think you're lying to me, Dustin, because I looked at all the stats for both teams, all 3 games, and I didn't see Skeens' name anywhere in there. And when I was watching it on TV, I never saw him in there. So I don't know. I think that Wake Forest game was the last one he pitched.
Dustin, don't be letting him talk to you like that. You better come in here and back your shit up. Don't be letting him talk to you like that, Dustin.
Oh, Dustin knows I love him, but I don't think he's doing it.
Jay, why are they
Billy,
telling
be
you
quiet.
about the ball?
I see we're going with that, Billy. Be nice, Billy. Be nice, okay?
I'm
Billy,
going
be nice, Billy.
to watch that video of that bulk. I am.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I ain't been able to find the video.
I got you. I'll get a
I
few.
don't know how you can't find the video, man.
You're home.
You're a reasonably educated young man. You seem to have a good concept of Facebook and
Let
ESPN.
me rephrase that.
I don't know how you can't find it.
You're right.
I
Let me
just
rephrase it.
understand that.
When I was looking for it last night, I was at the same time I was doing the show, so I wasn't really concentrating on looking for it, and I haven't tried to look for it when I wasn't busy doing something. So I probably could find it, but I haven't looked at the right time.
All right, so thank you. I appreciate that, Dustin. I appreciate that. Correct, because I'm telling y'all, have me losing my mind.
I knew he was going to pitch yesterday. And then
Listen, gonna and doing. Look, catcher's the most important position. Okay, stop it. Just stop it. Catcher's the most important position.
No. Shortstop's more important than a catcher.
Shortstop.
Oh man, what a time to be alive, man.
But anyway, yeah, that Skeens.
Yeah,
they're saying that he might not even spend any time in the minors, and if he does, it's going to be real limited. So he could.
So by what you're saying, right? So by what you're saying is, and I believe it too. I've seen this kid pitch, and he's amazing. Do you think he gets drafted number 1 overall? Plays a little bit of sparse minor league play, and then gets bumped up to the show.
There's actually a chance that he could play in Major League Baseball this season.
This season?
Yeah.
Damn. I don't know. To me, that just seems awfully far-fetched. But
and if he does, that team's basically getting another bullpen arm without having to make a trade or anything.
Oh, absolutely.
That they could add after the trade deadline because he's part of their team. Me and Dustin and I was talking about this earlier. Speaking of Dustin.
All right, send it to you, Chris.
All right.
Hey, so who's drafted number 1 this year?
Pittsburgh.
Not
Pirates,
you.
Pittsburgh Pirates are drafting.
Oh, I know it ain't me.
Pittsburgh Pirates are drafting number 1. They're going to take Dylan Cruz. They pretty much publicly made it known they're taking Dylan Cruz.
So that guy, Chris, was just talking to us about Skeens and that a possibility that he could go straight to the show, maybe do a couple of minor league games and then go straight to the show, do you think he makes it up that fast?
It's going to be a similar situation when the White Sox drafted Garrett Crochet back in 2020, where they sent him to the minors for a month basically to get used to the professional game, and they called him up in September. The only difference here is with the draft being early July this year, I expect him to go to the Arizona Complex League for a week, kind of just get used to the organization, get used to the coaching staff, and then I expect him to be in AAA for 2 weeks and be called up before the trade deadline.
So who do you have? I don't know if you've done any mock drafts, but who do you think takes Skeens then?
It all depends on how I think the draft actually goes. Like I said, the Pirates are picking number 1, and they've made it pretty much perfectly clear that they're going to draft Dylan Cruz without officially saying they're going to take Dylan Cruz, because you can't really come out and say this is who we're taking. But they pretty much basically said they're looking for an outfielder because the only position they don't have set in stone on their roster is an outfielder, which obviously Dylan Cruz is an outfielder. So that kind of takes care of that. But then you look at who I got to think. Let me look at the draft order quick, because I had Skeens going third to somebody. Hold on 1 second. Because there's not that other outfielder out of Florida, I think is going to go number 2, the one that hit the 5 home runs in the College World Series. I can't remember his name.
Was that Evans or?
Wyatt Langford, I think, is going to go number 2.
Okay.
Washington Nationals. I think the Detroit Tigers take Paul Skeens at number 3.
Oh, wow. Tigers.
And the reason why I said he could be one of those guys that goes directly basically from the draft to the pros. The Detroit Tigers are within 2 games of first place in that division, and you bring in a guy like Paul Skeens towards the trade deadline, you automatically won the trade deadline in the AL Central.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And that's AJ Hinch territory over there, so that'll give him a good arm.
Yeah, that's why I said you can use him as a starter if you need to, because he has started this games.
Right.
Or you can use him out of the bullpen, which is where I expect him to be used when he first gets called up, because you put him in the bullpen, you can get him up to the majors sooner. And the Tigers, I think, are only, 3 games out of first place right now, maybe 4 games out of first, and they were struggling basically the first month and a half of the season. You add a guy like Skeens to the Tigers, if they're within striking distance of the Twins, and you can bring him in as your trade deadline acquisition, you force Cleveland to do something, you force the Twins to do something, and you force the White Sox to do something to at least remain competitive. Otherwise, the Tigers can probably win that division by just bringing up Skeens.
Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Billy, Astros don't need schemes. The Astros are on a scheme. On a scheme.
Hey, Billy, to answer your question, it was a balk.
Of course it is. I don't expect you to say anything different.
I was just watching the video.
Jay, don't get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to say it was a balk, but it wasn't a balk, if that makes sense.
I just think the umpires decided that game. Honestly,
it was a balk because yes, he did move his foot up before stepping off the rubber. But if you look at every single one of his outings prior to that, he does the same thing every single time. And I think that's what he was more mad about. It's like, I do this every single time I'm on the mound, and yet nobody's going to call it a balk but you.
And I just think it's interesting that, like I said earlier, in his entire career, he's never been called for a balk.
He does it every single time. That's why some umpires kind of let you get away with it, even if it is a balk, because if you do the same process every single time that you're pitching, an umpire tends to kind of let you get away with it because you're not altering it at all. You're continuously doing it.
And I think Stanek also was a little upset too, because he felt like where his defense was, he felt like he wasn't set. And that's where he was arguing. He's like, I wasn't set. You have to be set for there to be a balk. And he felt like he wasn't set. And again, to Dustin, to your point, if you're doing that same routine all the time, then you would think you're not set. And if they're not calling the balk, why are you going to call a balk now? And then why the base umpire, and why not the umpire who's looking right at him?
That's part of the second base umpire's job is to look for a balk.
I get that, but I'm just saying, why was it Why was it now? Why was it this guy, this game, when he's been doing it the entire time like that?
Because every umpire that he pitched for,
I understand you're going to say the area umpire stuff, but this dude's been pitching for a while now.
Because you guys been paying them off.
Oh, stop it. Now you're just being silly. Okay, look. Okay, look. Well, maybe you didn't pay enough for Herman. Maybe Herman you didn't pay enough.
Hey, I would rather have Herman get suspended for sticky substance than have him do a balk and have the other team win the game.
But Jay, I'm being serious. By rule, like Dustin said, by rule it was a balk. The problem is you have so many different umpires, and not everybody calls it the same.
And you can't pay any umpire off.
Jay and Frankie, in case you guys are wondering, your mock drafts have your teams taking a high schooler.
Really? Who do you have? Who do the Astros? Who do they have?
I'll start with the Yankees because they pick ahead of the Astros. So they have the Yankees taking Sammy Stafura, who is a shortstop out of Panis High School in New York.
I like that.
He's basically the worst kept secret of the 2023 MLB draft in terms of high school players. He's got the highest ceiling and highest offensive ceiling among all high school prospects. His combination of power and speed and defense makes him a once-in-a-generational type player, similar to Trey Turner if everything pans out.
Oh.
And then the Houston Astros are predicted to take Bryce Eldridge, who is a two-way player. He's a first baseman and right-handed pitcher from Madison High School in Virginia. He's
pick.
6'7", 223 pounds. He can hit 97 miles per hour with his fastball, coming off of a senior season where he hit a 686 with 31 home runs.
Terrible pick. They need a catcher. They need a catcher. Most important position of baseball. That's a terrible pick.
Hey, Chris.
Now, obviously, you don't know enough about the Astros because you got Yanni or Diaz and go fuck yourself.
Hey, Chris, they have you guys taking a catcher.
Best pick ever. We're taking the catcher. Best pick ever.
Hey, I got the best pick too. Shortstop. I say shortstop's the most important. We're getting it.
Hey, the shortstop's the most important position. You got the worst guy at the most important position. I'll tell you that.
Hey, not really. Not really. We got a future Trey Turner.
Man, hey, listen, you'd love to have a future Trey Turner. I promise you.
Hey, if you like Trey Turner, I'll accept it.
Oh, man. He said the second base up. Not used to seeing that guy pitch. Was he doing his job? Was it paid off? I don't know. I just don't, hey, at the end of the day, I'll tell you this. If the Dodgers get a win on a rookie pitcher and they only get it by one run, and they get a win on a balk, and then we get the third win, decidedly no issues, fuck the Dodgers.
What do you mean no issues? You win the extra.
They ain't going nowhere. I ain't worried about no Dodgers. I ain't worried about no Yankees. I ain't worried about no Reds. Damn sure ain't worried about anything up there in the Brewer land. So we're good. We're good. We're all right.
Dustin's not even a Brewers fan.
I just said Brewers because he's in the Wisconsin area. I don't know. Dustin, who's your team? I don't even know who your team is. Who is it?
The Cubs.
Oh, the Cubs.
He's just Chicago everything except for football.
That's true because you're a Vikings. You're right. That's right. Bulls.
Yeah.
Right. Bulls, Cubs, and Vikings. Okay.
Well, speaking of NBA free agency coming up. You think there's going to be big moves made?
Oh, that's a good question, right? I mean, that's a good question. Where does Kyrie? I mean, I know we talked about that last night, Frankie. I don't know how you and Dustin look at it. I was telling Gonzo, I know they brought up in the comments, is Kyrie moving? I don't think he's going anywhere if Cuban has anything to say about it because I think Luka's going to be pissed off if they lose Kyrie and Brunson.
Yeah, I don't think Kyrie go anywhere either. I mean, he was trying to recruit LeBron James after LeBron James was hinting retirement, and Kyrie's like, "Yo, come on over to Dallas." I don't think Kyrie goes anywhere. I think he'll stay with Dallas one more year, probably two, to be with Luka, and hopefully they can have a better season than they did last year. I don't know about that. Jay, that's more of your secondary team. I know you have a blue Dallas Mavericks under that hat that you wear right there.
Yeah, just like he got Celtics. Not a big deal.
Is that a reversible, Jay? Is that a reversible hat where it turns into Dallas Mavericks with the Mavericks logo on it?
Probably about as much as your hat being reversible as Boston Celtics.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Frankie's so confused that every day he says West Coast, East Coast, and he doesn't know which side to pick.
Yeah,
because I'm neutral, Jay.
I think Dallas is going to keep Kyrie, and they're going to try to build around Kyrie and Doncic. But I think the main thing they got to do, they got to get some players, some guys that can play some defense as well, because they could score points last year, but they couldn't play no deep. They couldn't stop nobody from scoring points there after they got Kyrie.
Yeah,
I agree with what you're saying. I'm just curious to see how Boston addresses their point guard position.
Dustin, what do you think about Kyrie?
I mean, if Mark Cuban wants to keep Luka Doncic around long term, I don't think he has a choice but to bring Kyrie Irving back, because you already let Jalen Brunson go to New York. Luka Doncic had Kristaps Porzingis for a little bit, and that didn't pan out, but you let him leave Dallas. So pretty much every key player that Luka Doncic has played with the last couple of years is no longer in Dallas, and at some point it's going to be a Damian Lillard situation where it's literally just Doncic and nobody else. But I realistically think Irving's going to end up in Los Angeles. I just think there is something with him and LeBron, their relationship they have, how much they constantly talk, where I do think Irving is going to end up in Los Angeles some way, somehow.
Let me ask you this, Dustin. Based on what you just said, though, what do you see the fallout being for Dallas in terms of trying to keep Luka happy after you just lost Brunson the season before, and if you lose Kyrie this season, what's going to be the fallout for Mark Cuban, the Mavericks? Because you got to imagine, I got to think anyway, that Luka's going to be not a happy camper.
I think the fallout will happen more next year than this year, because even if they lose out on Kyrie Irving, they still have options. You still have Fred VanVleet, who you can bring in, and Fred VanVleet is a very good point guard. So you still have him that you can bring in to help Luka Doncic. Patrick Beverley's not a great offensive point guard, but he's one of the better defensive guards in the league, where you could bring him in to help Luka Doncic. So there is options for him to bring somebody in to help, but he does need to address that situation this year before letting it go to next year, because the point guard class in next year's free agent class is nothing. There is no options that are even worth giving Doncic any help. You might as well draft a point guard next year if that's the direction you're going.
Right. And that's kind of what I was wondering, right? And then you got Boston over there too, who needs a point guard. I mean, you got to imagine they got to be talking to VanVleet at some point.
I honestly don't think VanVleet or Boston is going to go after VanVleet. I think they're going to be willing to roll with Spencer Pritchard for a little bit, or like I said last night and during your and Chris's show at night, I'm not going to be surprised to see Derrick Rose end up in Boston. You put Derrick Rose with the Boston Celtics, that's a perfect situation for him at this point in his career.
Yeah. I just know at some point they need something at that point guard spot to solidify that position.
What a jokester you are, stat guy. Yeah, let's go get Derrick Rose over in Boston with his bum knees, and he'll be a perfect situation, better than Marcus Smart.
I didn't say it was a better situation than Marcus Smart, but if Boston's looking for a short-term fix at point guard, which I think they are, because I don't see them going to spend the kind of money on Fred VanVleet that some of these other teams will. I could see Derrick Rose signing like a 2-year, $12 to $15 million deal with Boston for the next 2 years. That way it gives Boston a quick fill-in at point guard, and they can wait until the 2025 offseason when guys like Luka Doncic hit free agency, the guys like other of these high-quality players hit free agency, Damian Lillard. A lot of these people are going to be free agents in that 2025 class. And I think that's kind of what Boston is waiting for before they decide what direction they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So who else is out there? Frankie, what do you think about your Lakers, man? I mean, you guys, you had a couple of draft picks, but where do you see your team going? Do you see your team making any moves between now and the start of the season?
Oh, yeah, I see us making some. I feel like the Lakers are going to definitely try and re-sign Austin Reeves hard. That's the main priority right there, trying to get Austin Reeves to come back. some of the other players are already there under contract for about one more year or so. I think the Lakers are going to do, as I've been reading on news, they're going to try and do a sign and trade deal with D'Angelo Russell. I just don't know who they're going to try and trade him for. Other than that, I think if we get a point guard, I like D'Angelo Russell. I feel like the only reason he's on the trade block now is because of how he didn't show up in the playoffs. And Jay, you know, you were a big part of that as well. And I was agreeing with you throughout the whole playoffs about that as well. D'Angelo Russell had a good end to the season, but he didn't show up in the playoffs, and that's what got him in trouble and got him into the trade market right now. No team obviously probably wants to trade for him, so that's why the sign and trade deal is probably going to come out, where they're just going to like probably sign him and then just like be like, hey, you guys can take him for free. We'll pay his contract basically.
You know, I've even seen some reports where they talked about could Austin Reeves go to San Antonio and link up with Wembanyama.
I think D'Angelo Russell's going to go to Houston.
I think you need to be quiet.
That wouldn't be bad. That really wouldn't be
No,
bad.
I don't want. Look, I don't want D'Angelo. You keep D'Angelo. You keep D'Angelo where he's at. Listen. I had enough with the guy in Harden that played great in the regular season and disappeared in the playoffs. I didn't like that then. I sure as hell won't like it now.
Rockets are going to pick up James Harden and D'Angelo Russell. That's going to be their two pickups this all season.
Really? Well, the Reds are going to get Dylan Brooks and Pat Bev.
Can Dylan Brooks and Pat Bev play baseball?
I meant to say the Pacers. I
know
I said the Reds. I meant to say the Pacers. My bad. Wrong sport.
I heard the Rockets are going to trade for Julius Randle as well.
Oh, stop it, Frankie. Just stop.
Billy says, who's the most important player on a basketball team?
Oh, that's a good one. I honestly, I think a point guard is the most important one, honestly.
Well, he is the facilitator of the offense, so you got to imagine he's got to get the people in the right place. He's probably calling the plays from the coach. So
a point guard is by far the most important position.
Yeah.
In basketball. And you can look at the Chicago Bulls situation with how that team fell apart after Lonzo Ball got hurt. You can look at the Hornets when LaMelo got hurt. You can look at all these teams that have really good point guards, and the moment that point guard gets hurt, they go down the crapper. It's because
you can look at the Lakers; they never have a good point guard.
Yeah,
and that's just like Derek Fisher.
Yeah, and
I think Derek Fisher was the last time you guys were really.
And you can look
maybe Lonzo Ball. I mean, Lonzo Ball wasn't bad. He just got traded too soon.
No, Lonzo Ball was bad when he was with the Lakers.
Yeah, he was horrible.
He had no shot. He had nothing to give besides.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was still developing. I think if he hadn't got hurt like he did with the Bulls, I think he could have developed though.
But like when it comes to the point guard though, like they're the quarterback, they're the facilitator, they run the offense, and everyone expects like point guards to be like Kyrie Irving and Stephen Curry and guys that can score 25 to 30 points, but realistically, that's not what you want in a point guard. You want like the Jason Kidds, the Steve Nash type of point guards where they can score if you need them to, but they do so much more. They facilitate, they play defense, they rebound, and they basically run the offense and keep the offense flowing. And that's what you see with teams that lose like a starting point guard. They tend to struggle because whoever they have as a backup point guard doesn't have that offense flowing the way that it did when that starting point guard is over. It just looks so much more disconjointed. It's a lot more isolation ball instead of moving parts, and that's why like you need that legitimate quarterback kind of running the offense for you, one that sees the whole floor, one that's willing to sacrifice a scoring asset of things and do so many other things.
There are some teams that run their offense not through the point guard but through the center alone. You got Milwaukee who runs through Denver. Yeah, definitely Denver. They run through their center with Jokic. You got Milwaukee.
And honestly, Frankie, I don't know how much you watched the Bulls last year, but the Bulls ran their offense through Vucevic.
Yeah.
Because he was the best passer on that team after Lonzo Ball got hurt. Vucevic was the next best passer on that Bulls offense. So a lot of times you had guys like Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan bring the ball up court, but as soon as they crossed half court, they ran that offense through Vucevic because he was the best passer on that team.
Well, even the Warriors, they most of the time, Draymond Green was their facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Lakers, I don't even know who's their facilitator because LeBron James is always hurt and so is Anthony Davis. So I don't even know what the hell's going on. But we still made it to the Western Conference Finals.
Your facilitator was honestly D'Angelo Russell when Russell was there.
Nah, you're bugging. See, that's why you don't watch my team. His name is Austin Reeves, sir. Not D'Angelo Russell. It's Austin Reeves, the white goat, the one that we call AR-15 because all he do is shoot bullets, sir.
He's not an AR-15. He's a sniper.
I'll take that too. He's an AR-15 with a sniper. How about that?
I don't think that's a possibility because AR-15s and sniper rifles are completely different. But good try.
All right. Well, before you
he's a hybrid,
over
man.
me, I said something at the end of it. I said that's not even possible. But the hell with it. And then you go ahead and want to overtalk someone and can't hear what people say.
What'd you say? I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
Like Chris said, he's a hybrid.
I think you were right at the beginning. He's a good AR-15.
He's an Omega.
He's an Omega. Let's not go that far. He's a good player.
Damian says, where do you see Middleton going? I think Middleton's going to end up re-signing with the Bucks.
Honestly, I would have thought that too. But when you turn down $40 million to hit free agency, Middleton's out of his, pardon my language, out of his goddamn mind if he thinks he's going to get anything close to that somewhere else.
That's why I think he's going to end up signing back.
I think it's right there with the Bucks. I don't think he goes anywhere.
If the Bucks come back and offer him $25 million, you honestly think he's going to re-sign knowing that he just passed up on $40 million? He's not.
I think he's not going to have a choice because I don't think there's another NBA team out there that's going to give him more than that. I don't think it's not about what he wants. It's going to be about what he gets.
I don't think the Bucks bring him back. I think he just screwed himself.
I think he did too.
I think he's going to be one of those players that literally is going to be waiting until basically the start of preseason before he signs a contract, and at that point he's going to have to take what he gets. And I expect the Bucks to sign a replacement before he even re-signs with them.
The Rockets are going to give him a $56 million deal because they're
no. See, why you got so I'd say the Lakers could do it, but you guys don't have any damn capital.
We got a lot of money. Don't worry about that.
You broke bitches over there. Don't got a damn pot.
LA is the last team you should call broke.
Well, I don't see you doing anything to go get him.
To get who? Middleton? Because we don't want him. Because we know he's an injury-prone player.
I think at the end of the day, I think Justin nailed it on that, and I agree with that. I think he screwed himself out of that $40 million, and I think he's going to sit there like Dustin said, and right before the deadline or whatever, I think he just takes whatever he can get, which is stupid on his part. But
yeah, I can't wait for the Lakers to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner for the third straight year in a row.
Bleacher Report just reported 2 hours ago that I guess the Sacramento Kings have been clearing cap space, hoping to try to get Middleton, but they're saying that all signs point toward Middleton signing a new deal with the Bucks, even though the Kings' pursuit of the three-time All-Star has been a popular theory. This was 2 hours ago. But it's just a report, but it's from Bleacher Report.
I still think I think he stays with Milwaukee. I don't think, not to say that the Kings couldn't get him, but I think he stays with Milwaukee.
That's what they're saying. They think he's going to stay with Milwaukee.
Yeah. I do too. I mean, because he's on a title contending team. Not that Sacramento hasn't been playing good basketball, but he has a much better shot at the finals with Milwaukee than he would, I think, with Sacramento.
But does he though?
I think so.
Because you got to look at that roster.
I think so. Because if Giannis was healthy in the playoffs, like really healthy, I think that they would have had a better shot against Miami than what they did.
Here's the thing you got to look at too, though. Drew Holiday's not getting any younger.
Well, that's true. He's not.
Brooke Lopez isn't getting any younger. Those two, both those players are 30.
They got to resign Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, both those players are 34.
Going on Brooke Lopez if they want to keep him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Milwaukee is a long-term favorite because they got aging players, but I still think they got one more solid year to try to make.
Remember who their head coach is now too, though. They have Adrian Griffin, who is not a proven head coach. Mike Brown is a proven head coach in Sacramento and has showed that every stop he's been at. So going back to Milwaukee doesn't necessarily mean you have a better shot to win because the Bucks are going with basically a first-time head coach that's coming into an organization that has basically championship aspirations or bust. He's got more pressure on him than any of these first-year coaches, in my opinion, this year.
Well, that's why I say Milwaukee messed up firing Budenholzer.
They did.
Fire Budenholzer.
They did, and you
Oh,
know,
I agree. I don't know why they let go.
Why he got fired, don't you? You know
The
the
hell
reason
with
why he got fired,
Sacramento.
don't you?
The hell with Sacramento, damn it.
Why was that?
All right. That's what I said, Chris. That's what I said. The hell with Sacramento.
You know the
All right.
reason why that. You guys know the reason why Budenholzer got fired, don't you? Because he leaked.
What was it?
Because he leaked those comments out about Giannis 2 days after they got eliminated from the playoffs. He made after they got eliminated from the playoffs, they had like their end of the year press conferences or whatever, and they were asking Mike Budenholzer about the roster, and he's like, "Our roster's in good shape and this and that." But then towards the end of the press conference, he basically said, "The only fear that I have on this roster right now is Giannis wanting to leave us to go to a big market."
Hey, yo, Damien.
He leaked that out.
What's Golden Stare, Damien? Are they the Golden Stare watchers?
Like the Bucks already knew that Giannis has kind of hinted that he may want to hit free agency when his contract is up to hit and to maybe test the waters. But Budenholzer kind of leaked out that information without the team wanting it, and that's why literally 24 hours after he made those comments, he got fired.
Hey, what's up, Mike Hughes?
What's up, man?
You tell me, where you going?
Well, sir, I've spent all day outside today. I've been working outside for 5 hours. And it was pretty foggy outside today, and I didn't know why because, no one told me anything, and I don't watch the news. And then I found out that everybody in Chicago should be indoors because of the Canada fires.
Damn,
So-
that's crazy.
So, fuck it, right? We're already out here. Oh, well. Fucking Canada.
Mike, get inside. I care for your health, honey.
That's where I'm going right now. I just left the studio.
You're blaming Canada. I'm blaming your job. How dare they have you outside?
Dude, on God, right? The Cubs are talking about canceling the game, but they didn't cancel my job today. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
You
So-
blaming
so-
Canada.
so-
You need to be blaming your job.
So Dansby Swanson doesn't have to play, but I have to go pick up fucking peanuts? That's ridiculous. Fuck.
Is it pretty smoky out there?
Dude, I mean, man, everyone's saying that they could taste the smoke. and
No,
they're-
it is really bad in Wisconsin, Mike. Especially
Oh.
you can see the smoke like on the trees. Like if you look at
Oh,
the distance.
no.
Well, he's in Chicago. You're in Wisconsin. You're like right under Canada,
Oh,
Dustin.
God. You're like right under Canada's nuts, bro. I don't even know where Canada
Yeah,
is on the map.
it's really bad here.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Frankie, didn't those wildfires? They were out there in the New York area too, right?
Yeah, but we're not like Milwaukee or Chicago or anything like that. They're more close to the wildfires. Right now it's all we getting right now is dark clouds and rain.
A few weeks ago when it was when New York was real bad, you could here in Indiana, like where I live, it was a little smoky. It wasn't as bad like other places, but it actually made it down here.
That's
Which
when I
was
realized
kinda
I had
surprised.
to. Today's the day I realized I got to stop doing edibles before work every morning because I didn't even notice it. I was just going about my morning. Everyone was like, "Man, it's foggy outside," and I was like, "Yep."
Dude, we be trying to say the same thing to Jay before he going on live on a podcast. Stop taking those edibles, Jay.
Hey,
Gotta stop
man,
taking
you know
edibles.
what? Hey, you're right, man. I didn't realize it, but yeah, you're right. But those edibles are so nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, apparently it's like really bad, but I don't know. Like this guy that just walked past me has a fucking mask on. He's a fucking pussy.
Oh my god, we don't
Okay,
condone
wait.
that
I'm sorry.
language
I'm
here.
sorry. We don't condone that language. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hey,
I'm not wrong, but I'm so sorry.
Please forgive our colleague Mike Hughes. He is just upset right now that his job let him work at a smoky moment before letting him know that they might cancel the game on their behalf.
Yeah. I was with Ice Cube all weekend, and now today I was with Smokey.
hey, Mike, you see any big moves getting ready to be made for NBA free agency? That's kind of what
Derrick
we were
Rose to
talking
the
about.
Bulls, baby. Derrick Rose to the Bulls. I did see today, in a serious note, that the Miami Heat are thinking about waiving Kyle Lowry, and they're gonna spread out. So basically, they'd have to pay $29.5 million to him if they obviously waive him. But they're gonna spread it out over 3 years. That way, they can acquire another free agent. So I think a Kyrie Irving or somebody along those lines would be interesting for the Miami Heat to go after. I think that could be something to look out for. Definitely a point guard for Miami, I think, is the direction that they're looking at going for. And if that entails them getting rid of Lowry and making a trade for a point guard like a Damian Lillard, or maybe that's just signing a guy like Kyrie Irving without having to give up any assets, I don't know. But Miami, I think I'm definitely, especially after what Boston just did, I think that's something that they're definitely going to try to figure out. And the Bulls are fucked. So
You guys think
Language.
I'm sorry,
guys
the
think-
Bulls are over.
you guys think Damian Lillard will still be with Portland?
Yes, bro. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know why and Gonzo, this isn't a shot at you, but I don't know why we do this every year. And it's not just us. It's everybody. Dame looks at you straight in the face and says, I want to be here. And everybody else is like, oh, okay. And then we turn around and go, yo,
Lillard's
I think
leaving.
Dame wants out. Yeah, like, what do you mean? He just said he wants to be here. Like, it's so toxic, bro. And it's like, if Portland's at that point where they want to get rid of Dame, then that's a whole different conversation. But from Dame's perspective, he literally said the other day, not going anywhere. And it's like, okay. Now, I know they just met with him the other day, or I think the other night after the draft to see, like, where he's at and what he thinks. But with him and Scoot and obviously Shaedon Sharp, I think they got a nice little squad over there. If they could bring in a Draymond Green or somebody else along those lines, I think they'd have a really good chance to do something. I don't know what that is.
At least be competitive.
Yeah, I think they'd have a nice little competitive squad, some young guys. You got Simons, you got Sharp, you got Scoot, you got Dame. Let's say Nurkic can finally stay healthy for once in his life, and then you look at a guy like Draymond Green, and I think you got a nice little squad. Better than Houston.
I think Draymond's going to end up with the.
I saw that. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, it's all good.
Everybody taking shots at you today. Bang, 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 bang.
I think Draymond's going to re-sign with the Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's a real conversation now, especially with Jordan Poole gone too. Like,
I think Green is done in Golden State.
Probably is.
Because if you remember that interview that Stephen Curry made in February, I don't think Golden State's going to risk pissing him off.
Stephen Curry sucks on toes. I don't want to hear nothing about Stephen Curry.
But if you heard what Steve Kerr said after they lost to the Lakers, he said this team isn't a championship team without Draymond.
They weren't
So
a
who really?
They
so
weren't
who
a
really
championship
runs the
team with Draymond either.
What?
They weren't a championship team this season with Draymond either. So they knew they had to make some changes.
And what about the other 4 times they won a championship with Draymond?
Yeah, that was when they won the championship with Draymond. But last year, Steve Kerr said they're not a championship team without Draymond. They weren't one with Draymond last year either. They need to make changes to that roster.
2 years ago, they had the same exact roster and they won a championship. So what are you talking about?
That was 2 years ago though, not last year. They have to make changes to their roster.
You can't sit up here and say that roster wouldn't have worked if they just ran it back another year.
I mean, hold on. Is that the same roster anymore, Mike? They got Chris Paul now.
That was before.
The only reason why I'm going to say that roster needs changes is because when Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face, it killed the team chemistry. You saw that from the beginning of the season. You saw it the whole year.
What?
Draymond Green should have punched Jordan Poole in the face during the playoffs.
I would have punched on God, because we're gonna sit up here and act like that the reason, Dustin, he got punched in the face is because he's an arrogant asshole who stopped caring because, I made a bunch of money now. I'm on a max deal. I won a championship, so I think I'm the shit. And he played like he thought he was the shit. That's why he almost led the league in turnovers. That's why he is one of the most inconsistent players in basketball. I would have punched his ass in the face right after Draymond did. I would have helped.
And see, I think with them making the move to get Chris Paul and getting rid of Poole, that's what makes me think they're going to re-sign Draymond.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, and that's what makes sense, is the Chris Paul thing had nothing to do with Chris Paul being better than Jordan Poole. It was Chris Paul's on a 1-year deal versus Jordan Poole, who I'm paying for the next 3 to 5, and that's really what you're going to look like. You need to get Jordan Poole off those books.
And Chris Paul is going not as much money, and he don't turn the ball over all the time.
Oh my God, Jordan Poole is a walking turnover. I've watched Jordan Poole hand the ball to a defender. Jay McLovin talks about it all the time. Where did Jay McLovin go? I don't even know. But man,
He had an appointment he had to go to.
oh, you're right. My bad, Jay. But yeah, dude, I will not sit here and say that Draymond Green is the reason this team didn't have success. Klay Thompson, one of my favorite players, played like absolute shit. Awful. Andrew Wiggins had other issues and was gone from the team. Steph Curry was hurt. Jordan Poole couldn't find a fucking teammate from his asshole. Like, that's sorry, Frankie. But that's just really what it is, bro. It's like, no way. No way am I going to say Draymond deserves that.
Yeah,
Stat guy, do you got any reply to that?
No, because I'm just sick of Draymond Green. I don't want him in Golden State anymore. I think Golden State would be better off to move on from Draymond Green personally.
Oh, so you said what you said out of hate.
No, because it's not out of hate. It's how many players nowadays stick with a team their entire career? You do have situations where players do remain with one team their entire career, but it's like what they say about coaches. It's like what they say about GMs. Typically, a coach and a GM runs like a 10-year cycle, and they always say once you hit that 10-year mark, your cycle's kind of over, and you kind of need a fresh start. I'm kind of at that point now with Draymond Green where he's been with Golden State for a decade now. I'm not saying he doesn't fit Golden State, but he may just need a fresh start to maybe get the most out of his career, and I think Golden State may need a fresh start away from him also. I think realistically Curry will stay with Golden State his entire career, and I think Klay Thompson will remain with Golden State their entire career. But most players do not last with a team more than 10 years. It has nothing to do with their performance declining. It's just that 10-year window, 10-year mark is kind of when they always say your time is up with an organization.
I got to leave because I'm about to hop on the train. But what I think is Golden State's waiting for Joel Embiid's situation to get figured out and pair Steph Curry with Joel Embiid. But that's probably a year or two away. I'm just going to plant that little seed there, Frankie. Mark the date and the time where I stamp that. We will be touching base on Joel Embiid being a Warrior probably in a year or two. And I will see you sexy people later. I got some smoke to go eat.
So it has been said here on June 27th, 2023, on a Tuesday at marker 1 hour 35 minutes at 2:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Mike Hughes predicts Joel Embiid becomes a Golden State Warrior.
It'd be interesting if they can make that work financially. But let's get the final thoughts. Frankie, got any final thoughts, brother?
Yeah, man. First of all, I want to say it's been good to come back here on the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. It's been a long time since I've been on. I think it's been like 2 months, maybe even longer than that since I've been on the afternoon show, and it's good to be back. But catch us tonight on Unscripted. I know Jay would have promoted this, but he had to go. And since I'm part of the Unscripted crew, I will promote it for us tonight at Unscripted, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch us also on the ASAP show or the ASAP Network, the Unscripted Network as well. You can also catch us on Twitter, Twitch, all of that. Go on our page and you can see our liking tree and catch all of our social platforms there. I'm gonna get ready to watch these Yankees play tonight because that's all the sport that I got left in me right now until football starts. And I'll be breaking some news down hopefully within a few weeks of DeAndre Hopkins signing with the New England Patriots. Bam, bam.
Stat guy.
I know I mentioned this on the afternoon show last week, but Frankie wasn't on the show when I mentioned it, so I'll mention it again.
I agree, Billy.
For anybody that does not follow soccer, especially the world soccer side of things, the United States is about to become the soccer headquarters in the world for the next 3 years. They're currently hosting the 2023 Gold Cup. Next year, they're going to host the 2023 Nations Cup, or 2024 Nations Cup, which is basically the South America versus North America battle. 2025, they're hosting a brand new soccer tournament, which is basically the MLS teams versus the Premier League teams. And then in 2026, the United States is hosting the World Cup. So over the next 3.5 years, pretty much every major soccer tournament outside of the European Championships will be held on American soil. So if you ever wanted to get in soccer, or if you ever had any interest in following soccer, the next 3 years would be the time to do it.
All right. Didn't they just the USA team play in like the Confica or whatever?
Yeah, so the U.S. just played in the Nations League about a month and a half ago and ended up winning the Nations League. And they played Jamaica on Sunday night for their first game of the Gold Cup. And they tied Jamaica 1-1, so they're now 49-1-4 all time in Gold Cup matches. Their next Gold Cup game is against Grenada or something like that on Wednesday, and then they have Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday before they get into the quarterfinals and semifinals of the Gold Cup.
If I'm, and I might not be right, so if I heard correctly, didn't they against Jamaica? They didn't even play like their top. We didn't even play like our top team.
No, so that was the problem with how the Gold Cup was done this year. So you had like basically the roster that you're going to have for the World Cup played in that Nations League tournament. But as soon as that Nations League tournament ended, a lot of these top players had to go back to Europe and had to go back to their club leagues because their club leagues are getting ready for the playoffs. So the current Gold Cup roster that they have right now is like you have Jordan Morris, you have Matt Turner, and you have like your good American stars that play for the MLS. But a lot of the rest of the roster is like 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and like 20-year-olds that played on like the U20 World Cup team that are really getting their first taste of the national circuit right now. So they did struggle they struggled mightily against Jamaica, and you could tell it was because they have a much younger roster than what they had a month ago.
Like I said, I didn't see it, but I'd heard somebody say that we were playing like basically like our B team out there, and I'm like, well, why are we doing that for? But now
it was it's not. I wouldn't say it's a B team. I'd say it's kind of like your 1A team because you have like 4 or 5 like A quality players that would start for your World Cup team, but then the other 6 or 7 players that you're throwing out there are kind of like your role players that whatever.
Before we go, Billy had a question. Said, Stat Guy, where will the World Cup be held? What stadium?
So Mexico, Canada, and the United States are hosting the 2026 World Cup. So Mexico City is going to have one of the venues, and they're going to use their Azteca Stadium, the one that the NFL always goes to when they go to Mexico. Canada is going to have a site in Vancouver and in Ottawa, and then the United States is going to have sites in Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, Boston, and then there's one other city that the United States is going to have that they haven't announced yet. I'm guessing it's going to be probably Vegas or somewhere else out there.
I was going to say I'm surprised there isn't one in Vegas.
I think Vegas they don't have any of like the elimination like sites determined yet. The only sites they have determined right now are just the group stage sites. So they have like since there's 32 teams in the group stage, they have 8 sites. So Canada's got 2 of those, Mexico's got the 1, and then US has the other 5 sites for the group matches. And then I think they said they're going to announce the rest of the sites sometime in 2024.
All right. Other thing I really have is please like, share, comment. That helps our videos get out to more people. Subscribe to you on YouTube at the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network and at Gonzo Sports Room. Follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room and All Sports All Plays Network. You can also check out the ASAP app. You can find it at the Google Play Store, at the Apple Store, Roku, Amazon. You can find a bunch of different places. You can watch the ASAP Afternoon Blitz on there. You can see Easy Money on there. It's basically on demand. You can find all our shows on there. And then I'll be back here in just about 10-15 minutes with Easy Money, a sports betting show. My picks from Friday were from over the weekend, because I had some UFC picks for Saturday, and there were 6-3. That puts me at 364 and 297 on the year. So come join us here in just about 10-15 minutes. as we break down today's slate of Major League Baseball games and give out our best picks of the day. Hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. See you guys here in a few minutes.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all